Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. We've had some nice trades and there's some nice profits on the board still. Let's have a look real quick. Remember that this week is non-farm payroll week, so coming up on Friday we're going to have a live event. Everybody's welcome to join. If you go to daytradersfx.com, you can see all the details on this post right here, and you just click on this link and that'll get you all registered for it. We have the dates and times and so on right here, so just make sure you look at that, and we'd love to have you with us. Today has been an interesting day. The Dow started off a little bit positive, went a little bit negative, and then went hugely positive, about 100 points. Gold is not showing the same optimism, and the S&P had a decent day as well. Not the best, but an okay one. We've seen quite a bit of news today. We had the ADP, which came out worse than expected. We had the ISM, which came out a little bit better than expected. We've seen some interest rates out of New Zealand remain unchanged. And then we have employment numbers coming out of Australia in the next couple of hours, in about 4 hours. This is going to be a big mover. So remember that anything Australian, the Australian dollar, Aussie yen pairs are going to be moving. So be ready for that. And we're going to talk about those in just a moment. Quickly here, we have the euro dollar, which we've been looking at, and the euro dollar seems to have found a little short-term resistance, enough to start turning it down just a little bit. We're going to see if that can hold. This is possibly the start of a first top. You can see that back here we've got a nice daily reversal candle, very nice daily reversal candle. Looks like that's going to close in the negative here, so that should be good to kind of start getting this coming back down. We're coming off of all of this resistance up here, 131.50-ish area. We're coming off that, so this is a great area for the euro dollar to start retracing. If we look at this little range right here, we have our 23% fib down here at about 130. We have our 38% fib about 129.50, and then our 50% at about 129.00. So these are all very key round levels that the euro dollar should be able to retrace to. So we're going to look for that. So what I really want to see here is basically just a retracement up to about 131.00. We're sitting at about 130.75. 131.00 gets me in short with stops above above this high here, which is about 131.25. So probably my stops around 131.30. So not major stops, 30 pips or so. We're going to be trading against this high, against this daily pin bar, and so on, and that should hopefully get this thing running down. So again, about 131.00 is where I'll be looking to get in, and stops above, and be targeting some of these lower levels on the euro dollar. Pound dollar, we're actually already in the pound dollar, and we're in some profit. This is a good little situation, good little pattern here. The market has been choppy and kind of been all over the place here. We've been working on a head and shoulders pattern. It got kind of ugly. But still, it's looking pretty good. And below this 160.85 area, it looks pretty interesting. And I think we have some pretty good opportunities to short this pair and start heading, continue heading down into the 200-day moving average and so on, with stops above the shoulder and ultimately even above the head here. So I like the look of this pound dollar, and I think that it may be able to give us a nice reversal. We have a nice shooting star on the daily chart, and it's just looking good. I think this thing might be finally ready to make a run down. So that's what we're looking for. The euro yen had a very nice daily reversal candle in the works, and then it didn't. So that's all changed. The euro yen had this big bounce right here. It was making a nice run into these lows, and then it just decided to bounce all the way back up 60 pips, and here it is right back up to these highs again. So I don't really know what I think about this euro yen. I don't know if it's going to ever come back down and start reaching some of these missed pivots that are way down here and support down at 104.50 and so on. I'd like to think it will sometime in my lifetime, but I'm not sure I'm going to live long enough for that one. So anyways, euro yen, kind of interesting here. We have some levels to possibly trade against. There's clear support running through this whole area, about 107, 30-ish, 107.20, 107.30 is kind of clear support. and areas to trade against, but I'm not doing too much on the euro yen for now. Aussie dollar, on the other hand, remember the Aussie dollar, we do have employment numbers coming out, so that's going to be a big mover, but I still like what it's doing at 10500. If the employment numbers come out in the next couple of hours and we can stay below 10500, then I'm definitely going to be short the Aussie dollar. You can see that it's really having a hard time with this 10500 area. It keeps kind of testing and hitting, and it's really more like 104.90. It keeps reversing off that level and just can't seem to get above that. So 10500 basically I'm long to 10550, and below 10500 I'm short to about 10400. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at for the moment, but there's not much to do until the news comes out, so we got to wait for that. Same thing on the Aussie yen. I love the Aussie yen setup right here. It's just found a heck of a resistance where it just hits it over and over and over again. This one, although is found some major resistance, this looks primed for a breakout up. I mean, you just don't see such a strong move and then just bumping against resistance without really coming down. And then not have this thing break up. I think I just at this point I kind of don't see any way that it can't continue higher. So above this area here, I'm starting to like 86, kind of above 86.25. If we get an open particularly above 86.25, I'm long Aussie yen for sure, and we're going to see if we can get one more push out of this thing into some of these upper areas. We have big resistance up here, another 200 pips away, so we could be headed up into that, very likely headed up into that level. But we've got to get above 86.25, which we continue to hit. Now, if for some reason this, again, we've got to wait for the news. We don't want to do anything before news comes out, because that's where things get a little bit crazy. But as soon as that news comes out, again, long above 86.25, and if this holds for some ridiculous reason, which it may, then we're short against 86.25, and ultimately against this high here, which is 86.40. 40-ish, and I think that would be a good place to have our stops, about 86.40, 45, if this does come off of this level and not break that. If the employment news comes out and it's worse than expected, that kind of thing. So that's kind of all I'm looking for. Pound yen, you can see that we're kind of approaching this resistance right here, and this may be something interesting, but I'm not ready to get into the pound yen just yet. So really I'm just focusing on euro dollar setup right now. We're already in the pound dollar. And then the Aussie dollar. I think these are going to be our best ones. So euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar. Best of luck, guys. I look forward to seeing you all in our live event on Friday. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at DayTradersFX. And let me know if you have any questions. Best of luck, everyone.